Morning, morning, morning. If you're watching this live, if you're not, happy afternoon, happy evening, whatever it is. Okay, socks off for me. You can leave your socks on if you want to. I'm up a few minutes early this morning because I'm ready to go. And this is a little half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour. But I was thinking this morning about who to really do this session for morning. And a lot of us over lockdown have maybe tried to have some more time, maybe. Not all of us, but some of us maybe have had more time because certain things are shut, we're home more, doing more stuff around the house. Maybe people around the family are home more, trying to find things for them to do. So we've ended up doing more crafts, maybe. Maybe that's sewing, knitting, crocheting, drawing. What else is there? Editing photos like me, but you spend a lot of time, whatever it is you're doing with your crafts, is a lot of time is spent in this hunched over position. So if you're doing a lot more sewing on the machine, your neck's down a lot more, your back's around it a lot more, your arms are high a lot more. Knitting is the same, crocheting is the same, sewing is the same by hand. Editing photos is the same, maybe on your phone or on your computer. And even if you're spending more time, I think crafting can also be something in the kitchen. If you're cooking more, that's the same thing. If you're doing more housework, doing more decorating, it takes its toll on your spine and on your neck and on your shoulders. So I thought today we would do a little bit more work on that kind of movement of your spine and of your neck. And so sometimes when we're in this hunched up position, it's quite an idea. Your brain doesn't realise where in space it is, the proprioception of, where is my spine? Where does it feel you are in space? So it can become very sort of subconscious or unconscious holding pattern, and you don't realise you're there. So we're going to go into the holding pattern in order to come out of that holding pattern. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So let's lie down on your back. Lie down on your back. Let's move you a bit closer. Lovely. I'm going to take that off. And bend your knees. So your knees are facing the ceiling and your feet are in what you call a standing position. So if you were standing, it's how your feet would feel in relation to the mat. Yes? Okay. So if you find that your chin lifts a little bit, then put something underneath your head, like a rolled up towel or a blanket or a book. Do your fingertips touch your heels? Can they do that? Can they touch your feet? Can you reach that far without having to hunch? Okay, so let your arms relax for a moment. And just bring your attention to your spine. Can you just notice your spine for a moment? Can you notice how your spine feels on the mat, on the floor? And which part of your spine feels heavy? Do you have a preference as to when you're thinking about your spine? Do you think more about the bottom of the spine, the lower back, the middle back, or the neck? Which part of your spine comes to your mind first when I say the word spine? Because it's long, isn't it? It's quite a long thing. So think about the line of your spine and then think about the line of your arms, where your arms meet your body, and then think about the line of your legs. Where do your legs meet the body? So allow your arms to come out wide. Can you see that? Yeah. And your palms are facing the ceiling. Oh, my cold. I've got a cold floor, so my arms go, oh, what are you doing? You took off your fleece. Okay, so palms facing the ceiling. So you're just going to allow the back to flatten and arch. And by doing that, why are we bothering to flatten and arch the lower back? We're just like rocking the pelvis forwards and backwards. So if you think about where your pubic bone is in your ribs, you're just bringing the pubic bone towards your ribs and then moving them away. And as you move them away, it's almost like you're pushing your belly out. And when you flatten the back, it's as if your belly's pressing down towards the floor, but you're not pulling, you're not tightening. So there's no squeezing going on of anything, it's just a rolling. And if you imagined your tailbone was a wheel, you'd be rolling that wheel forwards and backwards. So you're going into a movement and out of a movement. And sometimes when we're sitting hunched over for a long amount of time, it will have that. The pelvis will be you'll be either sitting on your sit bones or not. Forward of your sit bones or back of your sit bones. So we're just finding that rolling forwards and backwards. And then just let it rest, and then do the same with the arms. Roll them forwards and roll them backwards. So when they roll forwards, the arms go flat, and when you roll backwards, the palms face the back of the room. So it's not just the hands, but the whole arm, all the way up, top of the arm, into the shoulder socket. And you might notice when you're doing that, might be able to feel it. You might be able to feel it in your shoulder blades. And then roll all the way back and all the way forwards. Whoa. All the way back and all the way forwards. So when you roll it all the way back, you might notice that your chest lifts a little bit. You might lift your chin, and when you roll all the way forwards, you might find that the chest punches or the arms roll forward. So you kind of feel that you're clouding your chest. So think about where your lungs are. How do your lungs feel when you roll the arms back? Are we opening up the lungs and the chest? And when you roll the arms forward, is it like they're clouding the lungs, as if there's clouds on top of the lungs that they can't see as well? Imagine your lungs are shaped like mountains. And the clouds rolling in and rolling out. So next time the arms are rolled in, pause them there. So the palms are practically facing the back of the room. We've rolled the arms in. Can you lift your chin? And then roll the arms all the way back. Can you drop your chin? And then roll the arms forward. Can you lift your chin? And roll the arms backward. Can you drop your chin? And roll the arms forward, as far forward as you can roll them. Lift your chin, so you're looking at the wall behind you. And then drop your chin, roll the arms backwards. So you start to feel the shoulder blades lifting a little bit off the floor. Roll the arms forward, lift your chin, and roll the arms backward, lift your chin, drop your chin. And then we'll do the opposite. Roll the arms forward, keep the chin down. That feels a bit odd, yes? And then roll the arms backwards and lift your chin. And roll the arms forward, drop your chin. And then roll the arms backwards, lift your chin. Roll the arms forward, drop your chin. My voice goes a bit deep. Roll the arms backwards, lift your chin. And then find the middle. Finding the middle just feels a bit different now with your arms. So you might be able to notice more of your arm now resting on the floor. Lovely. And then start to bring this position back into your pelvis where you're flattening the back, and start to lift the back of the pelvis off the floor and then put it back down. Rolling the pelvis so the back drops into the floor, lift the pelvis and then bring it back down. And as you keep lifting the pelvis, just lift an extra bone each time you come up. An extra bone lifts. Notice your feet just in contact with the floor as you do this. Nothing's changed in the knees. There's still a gap between the knees. The knees are facing the ceiling. You're just lifting a little vertebrae off the floor, an extra one each time you come up. We're going to add the arms now. So we're going to keep the arms where they are, but as you roll up, you're going to pause however far you've got, maybe around the heart line, mid-back. Can the arms now roll back? So you're rolling the arms back just now. Can they do that? So the palms are facing the back of the room. And when you come back down through your spine, can you roll the arms down? And can you lift your head as if you're looking between your knees? Bring your head back down. Let the arms roll back, lifting the pelvis, rolling through the spine. And then as you come back down, roll the arms forward, drop your chin to your chest, look between the knees. Roll the arms back. Lift your pelvis, roll the pelvis back down, the spine back down, roll the arms forward and lift your chin Lift your head. Bring the head back down, roll the arms back, lift the pelvis. Can you go a bit further with the arms now as you've gone higher with the pelvis? And roll yourself back down, roll the arms forward, drop your chin to your chest, come forward and hold it here. Put your hands behind your head. So let your head rest in your hands. So you're rounding your spine, your rib cage is dropping down into the floor. And if you were in a seated position like this, you would be probably in your craft position as you are over the desk or the table. And then can you just let yourself go over to one side as if you're trying to reach for something on the opposite leg. Beyond the opposite leg. Come back to the middle and go to the other side. Come back to the middle, go over to the other side. So you're resting more on one shoulder. Come back over to the other side, resting more on the other shoulder. Come back and rest. Pick up one. I'm going to pick up my right foot and hold onto it with my right hand. I'm going to hold onto my underneath my knee. So left hand behind the head. Can you lift and twist over to that knee and come back? So my left hand is behind the head, holding onto my head, resting there, twisting over to my right side and coming back. So my left rib cage goes over towards my right pelvis. So we're going into that flex position and coming out of the flex position. So the rib cage on the left side goes over to the pelvis and then it comes back. And the left shoulder blade feels like it's just been lifted off the floor. But the right side, right shoulder blade feels heavy and the rib cage feels heavy. The rib cage is dropping down into the floor as you lift. Let's change sides. So holding on to the left, right hand behind the head, breathing out as you go over. Breathing in as you come back, so that right shoulder blade lifting off the floor, right rib cage going over to the left, and allow the ribs to drop down as if you're curving. Yes, curving over. Imagine there's some tiny little hands that are helping push your shoulder blade off the floor and over. Knowing how to come out of that position. Last one. And then putting that foot down and then rolling yourself over onto your front. And just stay lifted. So you're on your front, but your hands are down and you're staying lifted with your chest, with your heart. The front of your pelvis is on the floor, your legs feeling equal. Can you allow the front of your feet to feel equal? And just with your hands, press the floor away. Press the floor away. Long fingers, long thumbs. Can you notice your hands feeling equal, or are you leaning more over onto the outside edge or the inside edge? Can you notice the hands feeling equal? Pressing the floor away. Notice the elbows feeling equal. And just breathe into your lower belly for a moment. So breathing into your lower belly, forward a little bit. Let you turn your head from right to left without your shoulders moving. Just the head turning from right to left. Shoulder blades resting on the ribs. Can you imagine that your heart is lifting up between your shoulder blades? So if I was in the room with you, my hand would be between your shoulder blades and you'd be pressing up into my hand. So you're not sinking down between your shoulder blades, but lifting up between your shoulder blades. And then bring the head back to the middle. Can you bend one knee and do 3 little kicks? Put your foot down, change legs, 3 little kicks. As if your foot is patting your shoulder. You're looking towards your fingers or towards the front of the mat. Still imagine that my hand's between your shoulder blades, your heart's lifting up into my hand, the pelvis is staying steady. Last one when you get to your left leg. And then you're going to come back down and let your arms rest down by your side. And as they rest, can you keep your chin towards your throat, but your face is off the floor and your shoulder blades are going to hug your spine. So you're slightly tucking under with your pelvis. If you feel it in your back, you can rest at any time. Now you're going to let your arms come out wide. Have you got space for that? Soften the elbows if you haven't. Can you allow the hands to come out in front of you? So you're about an inch off the floor. Take the arms out wide and take the arms back towards your legs. Let your shoulder blades hug your spine. Come back out with the hands. So the face drops down towards the floor a little bit. Take the arms out wide. Bring the arms back. Let the head and the chest bone lift if it can. If it can't, your face can stay down on your towel or on a blanket, or your forehead can rest on your towel or your blanket as you bring the arms back out and back towards your legs. I'm going to do 2 more, but rest if you need to. Can you notice how much of your chest bone is coming off the mat as you lift? Can you stay equal on the legs and on your feet so you're not leaning over onto one side? And then come back down and rest your forehead on your hands. Breathe into your lower belly. And can you breathe into your lower back? If you find it hard to feel or to notice that, you can put one hand around and rest it on your lower back and breathe into your hand. You're going to then you're going to bend your elbows so your hands are on the floor. Drop the chin back towards your chest and lift the chest bone off the floor and put the chest bone back down. Your face is coming up with you. The hands are flat on the floor, elbows are down. So your spine is lifting up to the ceiling. Your chest bone is coming off the floor and then coming back down. You stay equal on the legs and the feet, yes? So you're not rolling over onto one side. You're not have a preference, thinking about maybe your brain has a preference of one leg to the other leg. Trying to keep them equal. Just noticing what's happening in the body. And if you feel you can come up further, you could straighten the arms. But if you try this and your shoulders go up towards the ears, just notice that. Can you keep your shoulders down or just stay coming up onto the elbows? Just coming off the front of your chest, your sternum, lifting and calming back down. And then push yourself back into child's pose. Toes together, knees apart. Let the sit bones rest on your heels as much as you can. And let your chest bone feel as if it's pressing towards the floor. If your head doesn't reach, put your hands underneath your head to rest on. And if your arms don't want to come out here, if your shoulders are complaining, bring them round by your feet. And then come up onto your hands and knees for a cat stretch. So spread your fingers wide, tuck your tailbone underneath you and drop the head. And then lift the head and lift the tailbone. Tucking under and lifting. Last one. And then come and sit on your bum, on your amazing derriere. Come and sit down. Now, if you can sit cross-legged, go ahead. And if you find it is tricky to sit cross-legged, your legs can come out in front of you. They can be bent or they can be straight, or you can come and sit on a chair. Maybe you're in a seated position where you can notice your sit bones. Okay, so be aware of those little bony bits that are on the base of your pelvis. Can you notice those? Put your hands across your shoulders like that. Let your elbows feel heavy. You can feel the top of your arms, feel your shoulders, and tuck your tailbone underneath you. So you notice your sit bones, roll onto the back of your sit bones, and let your elbows feel like they're dropping down towards your legs, and drop your head, drop your chin. So you're looking towards your feet or towards your elbows. And then roll forward onto the front of your sit bones. Lift your heart and looking up towards the ceiling. Roll back onto the back of your sit bones, drop your chin. And then come forward into the front of the sit bones, lift your heart and lift your sternum. Go back again, rolling back to the back of your sit bones. And then coming forward, lifting your heart up into your wrists. Rolling back to the back of your sit bones and coming onto the front of your sit bones to lift your heart. Last one, rolling back. Noticing your sit bones as you're rolling, as if they're little wheels rolling forwards and backwards. And then come back to the middle and put your hands together into the prayer position. Thumbs on your chest bone, on your sternum. And just turn from side to side, but let your shoulder blade do the guiding, do the gentle pulling towards your spine. So if you're going to your right shoulder blade is gently pulling you around towards your spine. And if you're going to the left, it's your left shoulder blade, mid to lower shoulder blade doing the work, as if it's trying to reduce the space between your shoulder blade and your spine. Can you do that without changing anything in your sit bones? So you're not leaning over onto one sit bone. The weight stays equal, as if there are separate scales and they're equal on the right and the left side. So you don't feel that you're leaning in order to turn. Yeah, and that's quite a common thing to see. I do see sometimes people trying to shorten the waist in order to turn. So you're not using your side bending or back muscles too much, your lower back muscles to turn, but you're using more of your shoulders in the middle of your shoulder blades to help you turn. And your abdominals. Oh my goodness, everybody thinks the abdominals are just for doing it. Flexing, getting six packs, but they are for rotation. So can we keep doing this, but let your head go in the opposite direction without your ear dropping down towards your shoulder? So the chin stays level with the floor. Whoa. So your neck stays the same height, right and left, so you're not bending with the neck. You're just turning. And can you do that from the very top of your neck, the very top 2 vertebrae of your neck? Can you just turn from there? And this is part of the neck that can get really tight and really stuck. You're thinking about the position that you're in when you're looking through your sewing machine or doing anything, you're crocheting, whatever it is you're doing. The head tends to come forward. Even if you're doing a painting and you're decorating, it's like this, your head's like this. It gets very stuck up here at the top. You get that reduced range of movement. Yeah. So come back to the middle, relax your hands, and put your hands behind your head so your thumbs find that curve of your skull. So the palms are resting on the head and the thumbs are just finding the curve, the back of your skull. Can you find where the right and the left hand meet underneath that curve? And you'll notice where your neck is. So come away from the neck. So you have about a space, about that much, probably about an inch in the middle, maybe 2 inches. So your thumbs either side of your neck. Just find that curve. Your thumb can find that curve. Just allow the thumb to do a gentle massage, as if it's just finding a little circular movement at the curve. So you're not actually on the neck itself, but you're either side of it, and you might find a space that feels, or not a space, you might find an area that feels tight, tender, pressing on a bruise. We hold a lot of tension here in the back of the head and then the top of the neck. Just gently finding one side maybe feel shorter or tighter or tender. Can you release more one side more than the other? Create space and then let it go and put your fingertips on your forehead and just gently press into your fingertips without your chin coming forward. So you don't want to tighten up what you've just released. So gently press and release. Gently press and release. You can imagine you're standing up against a wall with a towel, a rolled up towel behind your head. And as you press into your fingers, you don't want the towel to fall. You have to keep the back of the head on that towel on the wall. And if you put your hands here on the front of your throat, either side of your neck, you might be able to feel just lightly how light the pressure is in order to feel muscles here contracting. So we're just building up strength in the scaffolding at the front by releasing the back. Release the back of the neck so the front of the neck can help hold up the weight of your head. Front and back working together. The same in the pelvis and the back. Finding that balance between the abdominals and the back muscles, the same in your neck. Lovely. And roll your shoulders. Ooh, do you find them creaking and cracking a little bit? You know where up is and where down is with your shoulders. Can you take both of your shoulders up and then bring them all the way down? Can you take them all the way up and all the way down? Just notice where all the way up is, where a lot of us spend most of our time, and where is all the way down? Where is all the way up? Where is all the way down? Where is your halfway as you do this? Can you notice where your halfway is? You don't spend a lot of time in halfway. And can you bring them forwards and backwards? Can you notice where all the way forward is and all the way backwards is? Can you notice as you do that, your shoulder blades moving over your ribs? Because they're on the back of the body, we don't notice them until they complain, until they feel tight or sore. So when you take the arms back, can you feel your shoulder blades hugging your spine? And as you bring the arms forward, can you feel them moving away from your spine? Notice what happens to your sternum. It responds to what's happening to your shoulders. Yeah, all this movement in your upper ribs, upper spine, upper ribs, helping them move. And then can you go round in a circle? So you're putting those two moves together, the up and the down, the forward and the back, putting them together to make a circle. And then can you go back the other way, unwind your circle, oiling up the shoulders, oiling up the top of the arms, creating some movement in your shoulder blades so they don't feel stuck. Showing them some love and attention. And then let them go. And close your eyes for a moment and let your jaw hang loose, as if it hasn't got a care in the world. And let your jaw just gently go from side to side. And if you can't feel it, you can put your fingers on your jaw and feel that movement, notice that movement. Here we hold a lot of tension in our jaws. Okay, swing like a little swing in the playground. Or like a hammock. And then relax your jaw. And just notice your breathing for a moment. Can you just notice when your out breath becomes your in breath? Thank you for joining me today. That went so fast. Okay. Now save it in here so you can practice again another time. Thank you for joining me on this amazing Sunday morning. Take care. Happy practicing. Love you. Bye.